In this exciting episode, I'm going to talk to you about forking your soil. Hi everybody, I'm Alan Schaefer at Custom Garden Solutions. As you know from our last episode, I removed the silage tarp after it had been covering our garden here in Arizona for the last 6 months. What we found was that the compost we had added in December of 2017 had settled a little bit. So today, before we add more compost, I'm going to fork the garden using a garden fork, or what I call a digging fork. Forking your garden is something I did in Illinois every spring. It was one of the first things I did to prepare the garden for the growing season. I recommend, no matter where you live, that you fork your garden at least once, maybe twice a year, so that you get optimal results in your garden. If you do it twice, I would do it at the beginning and then at the end of the season. Unless you grow year-round, in which case I would do it in the down season if you have one. So, why do I fork the garden once or twice a year? Why don't I just rototill? To answer those questions, you need to understand that I believe in a no-till gardening method. It's actually a low-till method because I will disrupt the top inch or so of the soil using a landscape rake or tilther. On a side note, I'll talk about what a tilther is in a future episode. The problem with rototilling is that you disrupt the soil structure, the subsoil, the layers of the soil, the ecology, or the strata. Forking, on the other hand, improves aeration, drainage, and loosens the soil. On a scientific note, it has been shown in studies that a no-till method provides better results, better harvests, less weeds, and less disease. Rototilling will spin up all kinds of weed seeds that are lying dormant in your soil, and soon after rototilling, you'll have weed pressure. Rototilling also can spit up dormant disease and pests in your soil and bring them to the surface to cause harm to your garden. I heard another gardener tell it like this. It's like someone came into your house and threw all your stuff around. It would mess you up a little bit. Now, when I use a landscape rake or tilther, I do disrupt the top inch or so of the soil. You'll find there is not a lot of biology going on there. So this is a garden fork or a digging fork. I usually just call it a fork. Note that it's much different than a pitchfork, which is narrow and pointy tines, and you often see them in Frankenstein movies when the villagers go crazy. The digging fork has larger, more heavy-duty prongs, which are better for navigating rocks, weeds, and other obstacles in the soil. This is a Joseph Bentley stainless steel model, and it cost me $55. I got it from Home Depot online. I suggest you get a high-quality fork. I bought 2 Yardworks forks from Menards, a big box store in the Midwest, and both of them did not make it more than an hour in the garden before they broke. So a $25 fork may not be what you want. There are some forks that a company called Radius makes that I would suggest. Some of them have circular handles which make using 2 hands easier. I know of other gardeners and farmers who like the Radius brand too. So let me show you how I fork the garden. It's not very hard to understand, so let's go. All right. So what you want to do is you want to start on one end of the garden and work yourself so you can walk backwards so you don't walk right over what you've just forked. Just stick the fork in the ground, lift it back lightly. Now notice I'm not flipping or inverting the soil. I'm just lifting it lightly. And that's going to allow for aeration, for water penetration, for water drainage. And unlike rototilling, you're not, and you can do this much faster. And unlike rototilling, you're not spinning up weed seeds, disease, pests. and you're not damaging the subsoil or the soil structure or the strata of the soil. And it's that easy. Well, as you can tell, forking your garden is not that complicated. I'm going to go ahead and finish forking the entire garden before we bring in compost and then reset up the irrigation system. I'm just a big believer in the no-till method, or low-till method is really what I use. It doesn't disrupt your soil structure, your subsoil, your strata. It keeps the living organisms in place. It allows for aeration and drainage and water absorption. You're not kicking up weed seeds and disease that'll cause weed seed pressure and disease pressure down the road. It's really a sustainable, long-term, best gardening practice for a healthier and more abundant garden. I'm Alan Schaefer at Custom Garden Solutions. Our channel's all about helping you grow herbs and vegetables and all kinds of cool garden stuff so that you can live a healthier and happier life. If you're new to the channel and you want to learn all about growing herbs and vegetables and all kinds of cool garden stuff, then start today by subscribing. Hit that little subscription button. It doesn't cost anything. It's not final. It's not fatal. You can always unsubscribe. I'll try to do a good job so you don't. And so you don't miss anything, make sure you hit that notification bell, because you never know what I'm going to be talking about next. The pepper. Boom. Then you got the right place. Make sure you subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. You can always unsubscribe. I don't want you to. I'll try to keep you as subscribers, but you can always unsubscribe. Subscribing isn't fatal. It isn't final.